All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike. And today for UFC Austin, I'm joined by my guy, Wiz at Wiz Does. What's up, brother? How you doing? How you feeling about the card?
Doing good. Always happy to be on the show. And this card is very interesting. There's a couple of sneaky spots. But overall, I think the quality of the card's pretty good. But from a betting standpoint, it's tricky for sure.
Yeah. And I thought I wouldn't like that too many spots on the card. But like every time I think that, I end up with, I think I have 6 money lines. So a little too many spots, but I'm done pretty much for the week. So everything today is most likely final, maybe with a few additions. But we can jump right into the 13-fight card. First up, we've got Jamey-Lyn Horth versus Veronica Hardy. Horth is 6-0 undefeated, 33 years old, 5'7" with a 67-inch reach. Hardy on the other side, 7-4-1, 28 years old. She's 5'4" with a 64-inch reach. Why don't you start us off, Wiz?
Yeah. So we're looking at what people are thinking is a very new and improved version of Veronica Hardy. She looked really well against Juliana Miller. But like you mentioned, Horth, 3-inch height advantage, 3-inch reach advantage here. I do think that Hardy is being a little bit overvalued in this spot after that big upset win against Miller. She did look phenomenal. Her footwork is what impressed me the most. But I think it's just a product of fighting Juliana Miller. You can look good everywhere. And Horth is a very physical fighter who I wouldn't say is great anywhere, but is good everywhere, if that makes sense. But for me, I think Horth's striking is solid. She sticks to basic 2 to 3 punch combos, but it's effective. She makes it work. And I think Hardy might be a little frustrated with the size of Horth here. Horth's debut was at 135. This time around, she's at 125, her more natural weight class. So I think that's going to suit her better. And she did go up against Haley Cohen, who, yeah, maybe lacks a lot of fighting and MMA skill, but is very strong. And she dealt with like takedowns well. She stayed upward and was the more physical fighter in that fight. I just think that Horth is going to have the advantages everywhere this fight goes, except for the footwork. And I think Horth is going to be the play on this fight for me. I haven't locked in the money line yet. I do like that she's been training with Grosso and Lupi at Lobo Gym. She's been cross-training there and at Sound in British Columbia. With all that being said, give me Horth.
Yeah, I have to say I'm with you there. When I saw the line like last week when Horth was like minus 175 or something like that, my gut reaction was like, okay, let's play Hardy. But I also didn't remember Horth at all. Didn't remember her performance at all against what's her name again? I always mix her up with Haley Cohen. Yeah, I always mix her up with whatever her name is, Bishop, but Jenna Bishop. But yeah, so in that fight, like Cohen is so much more physical, so much bigger than Hardy, much better grappler, good jiu-jitsu. And Horth was able to hold her own, was able to defend the takedowns, was able to keep it standing. She's got her own decent grappling on the regionals. We haven't seen it yet in the UFC in her one fight, but that might be a path here. Hardy's got pretty good takedown defense, but she is going to be much smaller, and I could see Horth getting takedowns, holding her up against the fence, holding her down, getting control time, beating up on her a little bit. I honestly think that Horth is the better striker. Watching back the Hardy fight with Juliana Miller, I really wasn't impressed. I mean, it was good. She was striking in these little flurries. The output was solid. Most of the strikes were nice and straight down the pipe, but to me, it just wasn't impressive. And like, put aside the fact that Miller's just not that good at all, it just wasn't that great of a performance. I mean, it was a good performance and it was good coming off a layoff, but to me, I feel like we're overhyping it in our memory. And I just think that Horth is going to hit harder. I think she's going to hit just as much as Hardy does. Their output seems about the same to me. And she can do it at range. She can do it up close. And I just think she's too physical in the grappling. So I'm going with Horth as well. I played her at minus 127 for 2 units, and I'm relatively comfortable with that bet. I don't love betting on Canadians. I love my Canadian brothers and sisters, but MMA wise, not always my favorite background. But I'm going with Horth here.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Moving on, we've got Wellington Turman versus Jared Gooden. Turman 18-7-0, 27 years old, 6 feet tall with the 72-inch reach. Gooden 22-9-0, 29. He's 2 years older, same height. He's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. I'll start us off here. This is another one where my gut jumped right away, and it was towards Gooden. It's because I never rated Turman very highly. I still really don't. I don't think he's that great. He's young, so I'm sitting around waiting for these improvements to come finally, and I'm just really not seeing them. He's training at Teixeira's camp, a lot of hype there. He's taking pictures with Bellato. I guess people are assuming that means he's getting better. He should be, but so far in his career, he's shown not to be improving all that much. Everything to me looks the same that it did in 2021. Nothing has really changed all that much to me. The Sam Alvey fight, I mean, I understand he lost, 2 points in that fight. Sam still landed as much as he did on the feet. It was about even the numbers. You shouldn't be fighting so close with Sam Alvey on the feet. You just shouldn't be. And his wrestling is probably the upside here. I imagine if people are backing Turman, it's because they think he is going to grapple with Gooden. But Gooden's got sneaky good takedown defense. I think the number's 64%. He's fought guys like Carlston Harris. Harris went 5-12, if I'm not mistaken. Abu Bakr went 1-5. And his get-ups are pretty good too. Once he's flat on his back, he has a little bit of a hard time to get up. But you also have to remember, we're talking about Carlston Harris, who's, in my opinion, bigger. That's a fact. He's bigger, but he's also more physical and stronger and a better jiu-jitsu practitioner, in my opinion, than Turman. Turman is a black belt. He does have a bunch of subs on his record. It was a really nice armbar against Serkinov, but I just don't think he's going to submit Gooden. Gooden never submitted. I think he's got 7 of his own. And I mean, I give Gooden all the power here. I think he has all the finishing upside, at least on the feet. I guess Turman can do it on the ground, but again, I don't really think so. On the feet, I think Gooden's got better technique. I think he's a better striker in general. I like his jab quite a bit. I like the power, obviously, extremely powerful dude. The big problem, but also kind of a plus, I guess, depending how you look at it, is the hands down constantly, right? That's exactly how Impa hurt him in their fight on the regionals outside of the UFC. He literally was moving backwards, hands down to the side, and Impa just easily countered him and knocked him down and then got the finish shortly after. That's a problem. The thing is, Turman doesn't have that much power on the feet. I'm not really that worried about him catching Gooden and putting him out. And I said it's a plus in a way because when the hands are down, the guys who can do it well, like Bobby Green, for example, you never know where it's coming from. You don't know where the strikes are coming from because the hands are down and they come from awkward angles. And that's what Gooden does. So I do think he can catch Turman, a guy who we've seen hurt multiple times, and a guy who just doesn't impress me. I'm picking Gooden to win. I haven't gotten to a bet. I don't know. I just kind of want better odds. And considering the fact that he does fight with his hands down, the damage is going to add up. Don't know if I want to run and bet plus 160, even though I do think the line's off. Pick is Gooden. I'm thinking maybe a knockout prop or maybe a decision no action possibly. What do you think, Wiz?
I think we align here. Gooden has a 5-inch reach advantage here. And to touch up on the point you made about his hands being low, sure, it does create the that perception of you don't know where those shots are coming from. But more importantly, in this spot, I feel the takedowns are going to be harder to get because if your hands are already low, you're going to be able to defend takedowns a little bit better. And when you're shooting against a guy who's built like a brick house, like Gooden, whose takedown defense is already pretty decent, it's just going to help that much more. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Gooden would have been a bet for sure here if only he threw more volume. That's my biggest issue with him. Sometimes he just gets too complacent and he waits for the counter a little bit too much. We've seen it all through his UFC career, and that's ultimately what led to him leaving the UFC. And then, yeah, it's just the output, man. That's the biggest issue. He has the power, he has a takedown defense, and he's a brick house. Like he's built well, and he's usually conditioned well. He doesn't throw. And with Turman, I just never think that he's going to cover a big favorite or medium favorite price tag. His cardio is a big concern. But the one thing that I will say looked pretty improved in the last fight was the striking against Randy Brown. Randy Brown had a lot of reach on him and size, but he did land quite a bit on Randy Brown. The optics at least showed that it was closer than what the line indicated at that point. And it looks like he's gaining a little bit of knowledge in the striking from Alex Pereira and from the other guys in the gym. He used those elbows a lot, which was brand new to his game. Never used elbows. But yeah, for me, I just think this is a dogger pass spot. I just wish we had closer to minus 200. I mean, sorry, plus 200. That's
That would
where I would have
I'd
pulled
be
it.
on that. I'd be on that. Yeah, I'm thinking about the decision, no action, because like I mentioned, I really don't think Turman gets the finish. But at
You
the
don't think
same
you can
time,
sub him?
he could, but I just don't think so. I don't think it's gonna happen. But like Gooden, I don't really like. How does he win this decision? Like you mentioned, the output's pretty bad. His cardio is better though. He's
Yeah.
definitely got better cardio than Turman. In the Soriano fight, Turman looked awful. Like 4 minutes into the fight, he's dying, and he was getting beat up on. I think in the second, like when the second round started, I think the live line was like minus 700 Soriano.
Mm-hmm. I had a bet on Soriano.
Me too. I thought there was no way. Thought there was no way.
Pain.
And hey, honestly, yeah, if he can sub Soriano, I guess he could probably sub Gooden as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, exactly. Soriano is a high level grappler. And
Yeah.
Gooden, sure, good takedown defense, but doesn't really translate to the grappling defense.
Pass all around for me. If you're parlaying Wellington, Turman, seek help. That's
Yeah.
all I'll say.
Yeah. Exclamation mark on that one.
Not something if I'm saying that and I'm over here with my Jubilee fiasco, you should not be parlaying Wellington Turman. But all right, moving on. We've got Ihor Potieria versus Rodolfo Bellato. Such a funny thing. Ihor 24-0, 27 years old, 6'3" with the 75-inch reach. Bellato 11-2-0, 27 as well. He's the same height, but gonna have a 2-inch reach advantage. Wiz, why don't you start us off here?
Oh, our good friend Rodolfo Bellato. I remember as if it was yesterday we were breaking him down against Mortaza Talha in the Contender Series. Boy, were we wrong.
Looking back at it, the fact that I thought that Tala should be minus, like when I saw minus 240, I was like, yes.
You
What a
remember what I said?
horrible
I said this guy's gonna shred him.
bet. He got shredded.
Yeah, he got shredded in the clinch. And you know what? Hats off to Bellato. He made the improvements that he needed to make. That clinch game was nowhere to be seen on the tape. I'm like, whoa, where did this come from? But yeah, he's a tank of a man. We already know that. He showed the improved striking and the clinch work in his last Contender Series fight against Talha. The ground game we already know is elite at this point. And if this fight hits the mat, it's an insta sub. I'm not convinced at all that Potieria has anything for him on the mat. If you do want to play Potieria, just play the round one prop. I think he's round one or bust in this spot, and that's only because Bellato has been chinned twice, and both of those were by a heavy hitter and Vitor Petrino. Hits like a truck. We all know that. We've seen in the UFC. I just think Bellato is able to stay safe early and get a round two finish here. Both fighters will have their power hands open. I'll just say that. It's Southpaw versus Orthodox here, so we got to keep that in mind. But I'm interested to see. Let me check the price here on the round two props for Bellato.
I got it up. I
You
was
got it?
looking as you were speaking about it. Yeah, Bellato round 2 plus 325. Round 3 is plus 800.
What about round two by knockout specifically?
Plus 650.
Yeah, no, because he can sell them anytime he wants. I think it's
Domestic
probably going to
might
be
give you a better one.
one of those clinch elbows in round two, just beating him up like he beat up Taha. But yeah, for me, the pick is Bellato. He wins inside the distance. Shocker, minus 250. But
450.
I 250 on the inside of
For
this.
the ITD, yeah.
For the ITD minus 250. So there's no value there. You can't really target this fight unless you want to take the risk with the minus 185 on the under 1.5. And even then, that I think it might get a little sweaty. But yeah, Bellato is the pick. I think he's a safe parlay piece.
Yeah, I don't know. He should win, but I personally wouldn't parlay him at minus 400 just because like he was plus 300 just a month and a half ago. He wins that. We see it all the time, like these crazy overcorrections when a big dog wins, right? And then they come back. Chad Eneliger, for example, won against Moon Gafarov at like plus 300, came back the next fight, wasn't minus 400 by any means, but the line was off. I just like watching Bellato back. It was impressive what he did to Talha, but I think it also said a lot about Talha that he just wasn't up to par. Like he really wasn't. Once his striking cardio ran out and a few takedowns didn't work, that's it. He was ready for the door. I just don't think Bellato's like minus 400 territory. I don't even know that he's ever going to be ranked top 10. Like he's a decent striker, but watching him back, like I can't say he's a phenomenal striker. He's all right. He's aggressive. I'll give him that. He's very aggressive, very powerful. Even hurt Petrino in their rematch on the Contender Series. And he's relentless. Pressure, pressure, pressure. That's going to win him fights, and that's probably what's going to win him this fight. We saw it with Nikolai Negumereanu and Ihor, right? Same difference. Negumereanu just slowly but surely did what he does, moves forward, takes the shots, and gives them back, and eventually finished Ihor. With the line the way it is and everything, I think, I really wanted to be able to bet Ihor here, especially my fellow countrymen, but I can't. I really can't. I think he's a good, I think he's a decent striker, uses his range relatively well. I don't think he does anything awful, but I just don't think he's all that great either. He has power. I think he's live for the knockout in the first round, like you said, plus 1,200, by the way. Already considered it. But I just think that he will break down the stretch. His cardio is questionable at best. Takedown defense, we haven't seen it tested too much in the UFC, but it hasn't looked great so far. Get-ups are okay. I just think that if Bellato isn't having all the success on the feet that people think he might, and I think he might not, then I think he can just take it to the ground and then get the job done there. So while I think the price is way too wide, I'm not willing to take the shot on the dog here. I just don't think he's going to be the one to crash the train just yet.
Yeah, I don't think Bellato should be minus 450 against most of the roster, against most of the division, but it's Ihor. That's what it is for me. He's a minus athlete. He's definitely, I think he should be a weight class down. He carries a little bit of belly fat. He's soft to the belly. That's what it is for me. I wouldn't really like advocate for Bellato minus 450 against most guys, but this is one where I guess you just can't fade him with Ihor.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of like, for me, it's like Shannon Ross. I'll fade him with anyone, any day, any price. I've been doing it. People finally caught on after Aguilar knocked him out. I've been saying, dude, glass chin doesn't even cover it. That's an understatement for Shannon Ross. And he's fighting again.
Yeah,
they're bringing him in again. I think in 2 cards, I'm pretty sure, against
before the end of the year.
Decent dude too. What's his name? Hyung Sung Park.
Yeah,
It's the next card, actually.
Yeah, he's knocking him out. That's the card that was supposed to be in China.
Mm-hmm. Minus 525 Park, though.
Fuck. Value.
I'm not doing a Jubilee again. I'm done.
No.
I'm done. Never again. But all right, yeah, I'll pick Bellato to win too. And I think the round 2, round 3 props are a good look, but you need a better price. Don't play plus 325 for a round 2 prop. That's not,
especially in this fight.
Yeah. I low-key think we're going to go over, honestly. I kind of think we're going to go over. Potieria is not like a glass chin, and Bellato's not like some kind of insane power puncher, right? Like, he broke Talia. That's what he did. In the Dos Santos fight, over 5 rounds, he couldn't finish Dos Santos, who got thrown around like a rag doll by Turkali, too. Not a crazy finisher, I would say. So I'm actually going to consider that over as a bet. It might be a little stressful, but I might take the shot.
Yeah, your asshole is going to be clenched with that.
I never play over 2.5s because of that reason, and because you're essentially asking the fighters not to do their jobs for 15 minutes. But 7.5 minutes, I mean, you could wait to do your job 7.5 minutes. Let me cash my ticket.
Now, if I pose this question, excuse me, if it was any guy but Talha in that Contender Series fight, do you think they would have broke? Because he showed incredible toughness, though. You got to give him that.
Who, Bellato?
No, Talha.
Yeah, he did for sure. But I feel like anyone with a gas tank to be able to move, like the skill set was there to survive. He could have gotten takedowns if he had any cardio. He didn't. And that's the problem. I feel like you put someone in there with cardio, it's not going to be quick and easy. Even that wasn't quick and easy. Talha landed a lot, and he did the damage. You look at Bellato's face going into round 2, he looked beat up already.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. The cardio, and also he probably wouldn't have. I don't think anyone would let him hold on to that tie clinch for that long.
I did want to. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me see if I could do this. This will be good. My favorite part about Potieria fighting is people crying about the Shogun Rua celebration. I love it so much. I put up a bait post earlier, but I want to play the clip here because it's fun.
Potieria produces his first UFC win. Bittersweet.
Respect.
It's so good.
The way he like cocked the gun back at the end, like, oh, come on.
Nah, dude, you know what he was doing? Apparently, this is what duelists do. I didn't know we have duelists in 2023, but apparently you're not supposed to shoot the person, so he shot up at the air instead, out of respect.
Wow. A man of honor.
Yeah, I think it's a funny dance. I think it's even funnier how upset people got about it.
The part that annoys me every time is just this. So like the way he does around his head, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?" That's like a 2010 rave move. It's like,
I'm all for the strange celebrations. Jordan Levitt, Ihor Potieria, let me have it.
Oh yeah, Jordan Levitt specifically.
Poor guy. Really got choked out 4 days before his baby came onto Earth. But all right, moving on. We've got a banger here. We got Steve Garcia versus Melquizael Costa. Garcia, 14-5-0, 31 years old, 6 feet tall at the 73-inch reach. Costa, 26-0, 27 years old. He's going to be 4 years younger, 2 inches shorter, and have the same reach. I'll start us off for this one. I like Costa. I like him quite a bit. Seems like almost the entire planet is on Costa. I don't think I've seen a single Garcia bet yet. And, you know, it makes sense. But at the same time, I think the line's getting out of hand. Like, I played Costa minus 160, and I'll break down why in a second.
Line.
Minus 240. We're getting pretty crazy. I mean, the line opened pick'em. You know, line literally opened pick'em. I wasn't able to hit it, but I know people that did.
I know think minus about him, I pick him.
But minus 250, I think it's too much. Like, all right, so Garcia, yes, he overextends a lot, right? That's the big thing that I noticed, my red flag. When he's striking, his striking is really good, clean, fast, 1-2s down the pipe. You don't really see him winging overhand rights or anything like that too much. Everything's pretty crisp, but he overextends on it so much, and he puts himself out of position, and that's going to open you up to not one thing, but two things. You can get countered on the feet, and you're going to be easier to get to take down because your balance is all kinds of off. Costa can do either thing. He's a nasty counter striker. The striking, I love his striking, and I think it's only getting better. Like, I've been watching him since LFA, and his striking is just getting more and more impressive to me every single time. His arsenal, excuse me, his arsenal, diverse as hell. He's got all the weapons, literally all the weapons. Elbows, knees, front kicks to the body, punches to the body, punches to the face, kicks to the face. And he doesn't throw them one at a time. He mixes it all into one. He was beating the living hell out of Lingo, just beating up on him. And I just think he's got more things to offer. I think he's cleaner and crisper, and I think he's faster too. And I think he has the grappling upside here as well. Garcia's got good takedown defense. 94% is what it says on UFC stats. I think that's a little bit of, you can't take it too serious. Hasn't really fought any good wrestlers other than Jalin, and Jalin knocked him down and then got on top of him. But then eventually he got his own finish. Jalin wasn't really shooting there, so we didn't really get to see it tested. But in the Pena fight, Pena didn't even get a takedown, and he controlled him for 12 minutes. Not one takedown. He wasn't credited with a single one, but he got 12 minutes of control time. That's a whole too. And Costa, while he's not as big and physical as Pena, I think he's a better grappler. I think he's a better wrestler. I actually really like his jiu-jitsu. I played the sub prop against Lingo at a crazy number, and we almost hit that thing. And that was very, very disappointing. But yeah, long story short, I think Costa wins this. ITD more than likely. I can't get behind minus 250 because Garcia can crack. The dude can throw, and he hits really hard. 11 knockout wins. Only been knocked out once himself by what's his name? Miesha Tate, the GOAT. But yeah, Costa's the pick. How about you, Wiz?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Garcia just throws haymakers and he hopes to land. His chin's been cracked multiple times over his last 5. He's been dropped. I just think that Melk is going to be far too technical for Garcia in this spot, and I think the part that's going to play the biggest factor is the leg kicks. It's going to chop Garcia down, take away some of the explosivity. And for me, I think Garcia's best path here is to implement some of the wrestling, because we've seen Melk accept bottom position for quite some time over a couple of fights. But if he doesn't go to the wrestling early and often, I just don't see how Garcia makes it after, like, past the round 2. Melk's striking is really good, and I really like his kicks, really measured with his distance as well. Not the biggest power puncher, but attrition. This guy is all attrition, and he puts it on people. He doesn't let people take a breath because he's just all up in their face. The cardio doesn't hold up all that well with Garcia either. He's had trouble making weight in the past. I just think Costa gets Garcia out of there late round 2, round 3. And this is a weird matchup where it's southpaw versus southpaw. We don't really see that all that often, so some weird things can happen. I don't recall either guy fighting a southpaw in the past, but I could be wrong. But yeah, give me Costa, but this is a very wide line now, and I'm looking to enter in after round 1, hoping that Garcia has a moment or two in that first round, giving me a better line around like minus 160, 170. I think that's the limit where I would take it. But if I get pick'ems, I'm getting a pretty decent position in there. But yeah, I do like Costa a lot here, and I think he's someone to watch out for.
I just went to check out what Costa ITD is. Do you know what it is? Minus 110.
What?
Booty.
No.
Booty.
Not for a guy like him.
He opened minus 115.
Yeah, no, not for a guy like him.
But all right, we can move on. Next up, we've got a Twitter civil war. I think we got Joe Solecki.
One of many, I feel, this week.
There's so many. Yeah, did we do any yet?
No, there's, I think, actually Jamey-Lyn Horth and Hardy.
I was gonna say Horth and Hardy all over the place. Yeah, but here's another one. We got Joe Solecki versus Drakkar. Klose. Solecki 13-3-0. 30 years old. He's 5'9" with a 70.5-inch reach. On the other side, Klose 13-2-1. He's 35. 5'9". He's the same height and the same reach, and so he's just 5 years older. Why don't you start us off here, Wiz?
Yeah, we have a striker versus grappler matchup in this one, where Solecki's the grappler and Klose is the striker. Klose is going to be the much older fighter here. Solecki, sure, like I said, much better grappler, and Klose much better striker in the spot. But I think the gap in the striking is a little bit larger than the gap in the wrestling, in my opinion. The age is a concern for me with Drakkar, and cardio-wise, he looks really good. He's never had issues. With Solecki, does tend to gas out towards the end of round 2, does tend to drop his hands. His striking goes out of the window, and he just forgets how to strike once he's gassed. It's pretty bad, and he gets touched up. Really bad reactions when he gets hit, which is never a good sign. Solecki's just going to look to take him down and grab the back and ride it out. But I do feel like a lot of people are giving Klose a little bit less of a chance to defend takedowns than I feel is appropriate. Sure, he's coming off of a reconstructive ACL surgery, I believe it is, or a knee surgery. But, I mean, the guy's always shown up to fights for the most part. Defends takedowns pretty well. I mean, he has some scrambling ability. If Solecki isn't able to get this fight down consistently, then I think on the feet, Klose is just going to absolutely wreck him. But it's a big if. That's my thing. When Solecki has the back of these guys, they just don't escape. And that's what's giving me a little bit of hesitancy. I think this is a better live spot than pre for if you're on the Klose side. And that's what I'm looking to do. I do think Klose ends up winning this fight, but I would much rather wait until after round 1, where I feel Solecki has the most I'm not going to say winning equity, but he's more likely to win round 1 than any other round in the fight due to being fresh and being able to land takedowns while dry. So give me Klose as a live spot after round 1, and then also give me Klose round 3 here. If it gets there, I think he can finish Solecki.
Yeah, so before I go, I just had to pull this up. I know you've seen this probably a million times now, Wiz, but for anyone who hasn't, Drakkar, Klose, Beneil, Dariush, one of the craziest, like, just watch this. Included the DC's reaction, and like, if you guys have seen that meme of like DC holding on to Rogan and just freaking out, that's from this. And now you can see why. But okay, to the actual breakdown. I ended up going with Solecki here, even though I originally thought I'd be on Klose for similar reasons to you and a lot of people, where I thought that if Solecki can't get him down, Klose is going to dominate. And I still think, he probably will. I actually think that Solecki will be able to get him down. I do think Solecki's going to get those takedowns. Klose has shown pretty good takedown defense, but he's also getting taken down himself. And he's giving up his back up a lot. Garcia was able to take his back. Giagos was able to take his back. Dariush took his back for almost, an entire round. He has some liabilities in the grappling, and a guy like Solecki is going to take advantage. And I wouldn't say that Solecki doesn't have any striking whatsoever. He certainly didn't at one point in his career, but he's getting a lot better there. He is young. 30 years old, but he's been improving at this point for several years. I think his striking's pretty solid. I don't think he can keep up with Klose there for 15 minutes, but I think it's enough to set up those takedowns, take that back, win minutes, maybe get the finish. For me, Drakkar, I felt like I remembered him being better than he is now. Maybe it's the inactivity because he's been extremely inactive. He had that fight with Rafa a year ago. And then before that, it was Jenkins. And then before that, it was like 3 years. So he's been very inactive. I know Jeremy Stevens literally injured him during face-offs. That was part of the reason. But he's also 35 now. That could be another reason he's starting to, at least to me, seem like he's declining. And I'm watching the guy, and like, I thought his striking was so much cleaner than it really is. He has a lot of power and he's got decent output, but he's pretty wild. Everything is kind of wild. He swings a lot. Like if he was fighting a talented counter striker, I'd be all over them because I think he's a relatively easy guy to counter. And he's really hittable, really leaves himself open, and he's very plotting. So if he's going to be swinging, putting himself out of position, similar to what I was saying with Steve Garcia, and being flat-footed, those takedowns are going to be there for Solecki all day long, and his control is very, very good. He might have a hard time getting Klose down, but once he's down, I think he's going to control him. For me, in a striker versus grappler matchup, I went with the plus money on Solecki. I thought that he could be a slight favorite because of the grappling, so for me, relatively easy bet to make. Not saying it's an easy bet that it's going to hit. Just meant easy bet to make. I played him at plus 113, I believe. Let me check. Plus 114 for one unit. It could be terrible. Could end up he can't get those takedowns. I'm wrong about his striking being decent and he just gets murked. I just don't really think so. I think it's a close fight, and obviously either side can win, but I side with Solecki here.
No pun intended. It's a close.
I feel like you definitely heard that joke already somewhere this week.
No. It's all that was running through my head when I was taping it.
I normally consume a lot of content too when I'm cleaning or like doing whatever around the house, but this week I didn't because I told you, if you guys haven't noticed, I have a very new crispy camera over here. You can see everything. See my beautiful face better. Spent like the last
quality.
Literally. Spent the last 2 days trying to figure it out. That's been pretty much all my time this week. And yeah, and breaking down fights. But moving on, we've got Cody Brundage versus Zach Reese. What a fight. What a fight. Brundage 9-5-0, 29 years old, 6 feet tall at the 72-inch reach. Reese 6-0, undefeated. He's 29 as well, 4 inches taller, and he's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. I'll start us off here. So if you guys watch Contender Series, if you watch the show me and Wiz did together, you might remember us talking about Reese. If I'm not mistaken, he was on one of the later cards, right, Wiz?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was fighting, I believe, Aronov. We were both on Reese there.
Hell yeah.
And look, I totally get why people like Reese here. I don't get betting him at this price, and I'll explain why, but I get liking him in general. Brundage, relatively chinny. And, the big thing is his fight IQ is just unlike anything I've ever seen. His fight IQ is horrible. absolutely horrible. I'll still never forgive myself for betting him against Dumas. And, I wasn't one of the people who bet him minus 200. I bet him minus 125. Felt great after all that CLV. Then the first guillotine happens. And I'm like, it's okay. He's a good wrestler. He's going to get back up. And I was right. And he started building his base back up, and he's getting close to getting back up. And I was like, all right, he's going to finish the double here. Nope. Let's try the gilly again. After that, I gave up. And then eventually he did it a third time, but I had already left the room. But look, Reese he's dangerous. He's a very dangerous guy. All his finishes are in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure that's right. But it's like, first of all, the competition. You have to look at the competition. I know Brundage hasn't looked all that great, but like he's fighting in the UFC against pretty UFC caliber guys. You've got in his last 5, Tresean Gore, decent. Michal is pretty good. Rodolfo Vieira is much better than Zach Reese. I can tell you that. Cedric Dumas, him versus Reese could be a good fight.
Yeah.
Better opponents than Reese over here fighting Malik Jamaze, 0-1-0. Shahrir Zolf Khagari, 0-0-0. Aaron Phillips, 6-3-0. Tommy Britton, 5-10-0. And then Eli Aronov, who was undefeated, but in my opinion was an absolute fraud. And what happened in that fight still with Aronov? Aronov knocked him down almost immediately. Bonked right away. So, like, let me ask you this. People were running to the window to bet Brundage round 1 knockout against Malkoun, screaming off the rooftops that it's his path. That's his only path. Easy bet. You should be doing the same here then. If Aronov knocked down Reese in what was it, 15 seconds, you should be like foaming at the bits to get in here and bet Cody Brundage knockout round 1, and I don't think anyone's doing it. I don't think I've seen anyone do it. I want to see if the line even moved. It has not. It's sitting at plus 1,300, and it hasn't budged. And just goes to show, if anyone comes in onto any show and says their Brundage round 1 knockout bet was good, just ask them why they're not doing it this time. They're not doing it because it was a bad bet. Because in my opinion, he's more likely to knock out Reese than he is to knock out Malkoun. Malkoun has a brick for a head. Reese, like I said, got cracked in 15 seconds by Eli Aronov, who's a grappler. We all thought that, if Aronov won, it would be grappling.
Not to mention he was tiny as shit.
Yep. And I mean, he'll have 4 inches here over Brundage too. But like Brundage, here's another thing. If you thought Aronov was going to out-grapple Reese, right? From watching the tape, whatever, if someone like felt that way, you should be thinking Brundage can do it too. Brundage is a much better wrestler than Aronov at a much higher level. American wrestling background. Dude's legit in the ground game. Like, I can't take anything away from him there. If he wasn't an absolute idiot, he probably wins the Dumas fight there too. He's a very good wrestler, and I do think he'll get takedowns here. I do think he can get top control. And like, to just assume that Reese is going to throw up another sub from bottom, I mean, of course he can. He just showed the ability, but like, those things don't happen every single time. It's just, and you got to think about the competition. I think Brundage probably wins that fight. And honestly, I think Brundage can win this fight. And that's why I bet him at plus 220. That line made no sense to me whatsoever. Like, I bet Reese in the Aronov fight because he was plus money. He was the underdog. To make him minus 250, whatever it is, against a guy who has UFC experience, has performed pretty well, has hurt pretty good guys. Vieira, he had wobbled, hurt.
Yeah.
To me, it's just a crazy price, but I get it. I do get the concern. I just don't get betting Reese. Like, for me, it's dog or pass all day here. How about you, Wiz?
Yeah, I mean, Reese is a guy that will look for a finish, and Brundage is, without saying anything else, he's there to be finished. But if he screws on his head and really improves his process, he has a huge path to victory here with the wrestling. Like, he can land takedowns at will, in my opinion, in this spot and hold Reese down. In the striking, Reese is going to give him some trouble. Just the length, it's just there. It's inevitable.
Powerful as hell too.
Yeah, and he's powerful. Throws straight. But the padded regional record doesn't do him justice. He's fighting janitors and cans on the regional scene, Reese. And he doesn't really protect his head in the striking, doesn't move his head. It's just he's there to be hit as well. This is a violent spot for sure, but that's, I mean, every Brundage fight. I am waiting to play Brundage. I'm hoping the parlay boys come in and drive this line up. I am a parlay boy, but not when it comes to this fight. I'm just waiting for the Brundage line to get back over plus 200, and I'm going to be playing him. Already played the round 1 prop at plus 1300, but I don't move lines.
SMH.
All that being said, I think Brundage is the side here. It's dogger pass. I don't want to back Reese, especially at this kind of price tag against anyone on the roster. This guy clearly can get taken down, and really we just don't know enough about him.
Exactly. How can you bet? We have what, like 8 minutes of tape on the guy in 6 fights? Like
and
that?
Brundage, if I remember correctly, I was watching Stat Diggers earlier in the week. I think it's like over 50 minutes in the cage. Like, come on. We don't know much about Reese. He's after round 1. What is he going to look like? That's my biggest thing. We've seen Brundage after round 1. So yeah, for me, the pick is Brundage. It's an easy pick. I get it. People are not going to like the breakdown or the bet or just picking this guy outright just due to the record and the past couple of fights that he's had.
After Malkoun, everyone hates him now.
Yeah, especially after that, ruining parlays. They want to fade him even more here, which is why I'm waiting, and I think this price is going to go back up. I'm just waiting. I can't wait. I hope you guys. No, bet Reese. Bet Reese. Like I want to take Brundage so bad. And I talked to him like 2 days ago. I was like, take him down. Just take him down.
Yeah, I played this one. I think this was actually my second play of the card. Literally my second play. I played Arman when it opened mad early on DraftKings.
You're such a smart guy.
I'm gonna talk, dude.
Did you get the plus 110 or the minus 115?
Nah, I got 3 units down on the plus 100.
Okay.
And what I did was, I'll talk about it more later, but I'm hype about it, so I'll just say it now. I put 2 units on Dariush plus 170. So I have a free play on Arman right now to win 1 unit. If he loses, I win 0.4. But what we're going to talk about later is I'm torn whether I should just say screw it, because plus 235, I'll talk about it on Dariush, I think is incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Should I just put the other unit on Dariush? If Dariush wins, I win 2.9 units. If Dariush loses, I lose nothing at all. We'll talk about it later, but that's the situation I'm currently in.
Wow.
God bless DraftKings.
Oh, yeah.
But all right, moving on. We've got. I hate this fight so much.
I hate this one too.
I didn't want to tape it. I didn't want to talk about it. I'm definitely not betting it unless there's one number I'm looking out for. But let's talk about it. We got Miesha Tate versus Julia Avila. Tate 19-9-0, 37 years old, 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. On the other side, you got Avila 9-2-0, 35. She's 2 years younger, 1 inch taller. And she's going to have let's call it a 2.5-inch reach advantage. And she's, people talk about the age with Tate, that she's 37. Avila's 35. So no spring chicken. Why don't you start us off, Wiz?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this one short. This is a big pass spot for me. Tate's only getting older. Avila's only getting older. Both of these girls are coming off of pregnancies, but Tate has fought since that. Avila's returning now from a pregnancy, C-section. I did my research with that one.
I had to look too, because 9 canceled fights. I had to look. Why?
Yeah, she's been out for close to 3 years now. To being completely honest, I did not bother taping this one. It's dogger pass, and I don't think you should be betting Avila at chalk at all, ever, never, unless it's like some crackhead off the street that looks like Medusa. Then sure, but you don't want to lay chalk on Avila. I'm passing. I think this is the go take a smoke break or go grab a drink kind of fight.
Well, those of us that are prepared properly, boys, we don't have to leave the couch to get our smokes and drinks, okay? There's a compartment right underneath the couch cushion at the Couch Warrior household. But yeah, man, honestly, I had a little bit of a better time taping it than I thought I would. Just because low-key Avila is kind of fun to watch, because she's just like absolutely reckless. Like, I remembered thinking she's not great. And my opinion stands firm. I don't think she's very good, but she's fun. The striking is fun. I'll say she seems to have power, first of all. Definitely seems to have some power. 4 knockout wins, not bad. Hits hard. The strikes are relatively straight. Decent output. Pressure is good. Always trying to pressure. And like she's just aggressive. And then the front kick, dude, when she front kicked Stolyarenko in the face, DC had me crying. Dude just starts hysterically laughing. And he's just like, she just front kicked her in the face. But she's dangerous. And it's every single fight. Like she just rushes in. Like she finished Mazzani in what was it, 30 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
She's just 1, 2, 3. And it's definitely good. And against an opponent like Tate, who 37, and you know, their age is similar, but at the end of the day, I also believe in fight years. I think those add up. The damage adds up, the time training, the weight cuts, all of that adds up. And you've got 28 fights to 11. You know, that's a lot less wear and tear on Avila. And a lot of those fights with Avila, they also finished ITD. So she's not fighting as long as Tate in the cage. At the same time, though, like she's just, other than those flurries and the aggressiveness, it's just unimpressive to me. Because like those flurries, yeah, they work, but they're sloppy. They're very sloppy. And a good counter striker is going to counter her and take advantage. And her takedown defense, the number looks good. She's still getting taken down. Sarge got her down relatively easy, was able to hold her down. Get-ups are okay. But like what I try to do when I watch and I'm trying to assess their takedown defense, I don't really like UFC stats because it can be so skewed depending who they're fighting. Like they could fight strikers who are shooting on them and not getting anything because they're strikers, and the number is going to be 100%. I try to look at what they're actually doing. The only base I have at all in MMA is wrestling. I wrestled in high school. I'm no state champ, no professional, no national, anything. But I know the basics of takedown defense, and I know that one of the most important things, the first thing you learn when you're trying to get away from a takedown, hand control. And I didn't see anything from her when she was defending takedown. She was going for the underhooks and overhooks, which is great. She wasn't really using her hips at all, which is super important. It's all about the hips and it's all about the hand control. If you're not controlling the hands, it's almost impossible to get away because they can just keep going. They can keep trying to take you back down, drag you back down. You have to grab the hands, and she doesn't do it. And then watching Tate back, yeah, she lost the Lauren Murphy fight, but low-key, I think Murphy probably beats Avila too. Like, I would bet Murphy at a decent price there. And I remembered her striking being worse than it was. I actually think Tate's striking is pretty good. Good in the clinch. She's very physical. She was able to match up with Vieira, who is huge, and gave her a good, decent, close fight, was able to hold her own. I think she's going to be the more physical one here. I think if anyone's got offensive wrestling upside, it's going to be on her side. I think she's going to have the better jiu-jitsu here. I don't think Avila is going to submit her. I really don't. Avila does have a nice back take. I just don't really see it working here. And on the feet, I actually kind of liked what I saw from Tate. The jab was working nice. Combinations were there. Output was pretty good. Put up over 100 strikes against Vieira. Granted, that was 5 rounds, but still impressive numbers. You don't see that often. I like Tate here. Not enough to bet her at this price. Like, you're going to have to give me a good number to get me involved here. Plus 130 won't do it. I think she should have been the favorite, especially with Avila being out for so long. Like, Tate has fought more recently. Avila, like we mentioned, she's been in the UFC for 4 years. She's had 4 fights. Last one was in 2021. And she's had 9 canceled fights.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely inactive. You don't know what she's going to look like coming back. Was she able to train a lot? She did have a baby. That is very difficult, especially afterwards, too. You're not sleeping. I don't know. I think you can't bet Avila as a favorite here. So for me, it's dog or pass. It's a tempting dog, kind of, because I really do think she should win this. I think the grappling will get it done, and I think in the striking, she's not going to get overwhelmed. I don't think Avila is going to break her like she did Gina Mazzani, but I'm probably going to stay away. The only prop that I was considering would be Avila by knockout, but I would have wanted something better than plus 425. Get out of here with that. I got no interest.
Yeah, that's
moving on. I'll pick Tate to win, though. That'll be the official pick. Next up, we've got Punahele Soriano versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Soriano 9-3-0, 31 years old, 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. Stoltzfus 14-5-0. He's 1 year older, 1 inch taller, and he's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. It's funny. He has a win over Pyfer on the Contender Series, and Pyfer's about a main event. Meanwhile, he's 1-4 in his last 5. Crazy how things happen. I had Pyfer in that fight, by the way, as the underdog, and the dude still, like, that really sucked, man. He would have won, but it was the injury. Shout out to my guy Luke. What's up, brother? Thank you for coming on. And
What
our
up?
guy Mushroom, of
What up,
course,
boys?
loving his round 3 decisions as always. Yeah, fair enough. But Vieira's also like big, like
Yes.
tall and
I was about to say something that I
like,
shouldn't have
ripped.
said. I was gonna say Vieira's a man.
Moving on, back to Stoltzfus Soriano. I'll start us off here. So for me, honestly, I like Stoltzfus. I didn't want to like him here because I just don't want to play any more dogs. Like I don't want to add any more bets. But I kind of want to with Stoltzfus. I think this fight's close. I honestly think it's a close fight, and I don't think the odds should be the way they are. Stoltzfus gets a lot of gunk, but like he's fighting good guys. Like Abus is his only knockout loss. Abus is extremely explosive, hits like a train. Soriano also hits like a train, but I think there's a power difference there. I think Abus is more powerful, different kind of striking, and it was a front kick that put him out too. It wasn't even punches; it was just straight up front kick to the face. The Dwight Grant fight. Dwight Grant. Hard to take anything from it. He won fair and square, decent performance. But Gerald Mearshart, he was winning that fight. Had an underdog bet there. Lost it in classic GM3 fashion. The Vieira fight, I thought he looked pretty impressive on the feet, honestly. The Dawkins fight, not so much. But Dawkins, in my opinion, is better than his record says as well. I think Stoltzfus' striking is pretty good. I think the boxing is pretty good. I can't say anything is phenomenal by any means. He's very meat and potatoes, I think is the best way to put it. Very, very meat and potatoes. I don't mean that in a bad thing. I think some of the best guys are the guys that stick to their basics and are just amazing at them. He's not, but he's good. And his wrestling, his grappling is also pretty solid. He's a good wrestler. His takedown defense is pretty good. It holds up. He's able to get back up. It's very hard to hold the guy down. And Soriano, he has this wrestling background. He wrestled in college, but he has I think he has 2 takedowns he has takedowns in 2 fights. That's it. And it was the Pickett and the Pichota fights. Like he's not taking down anyone who's that great. And in the striking realm, like he hits very hard. Yes, he hits like a train for sure, but everything is just kind of wild. There's a big hook to it. He's starting to use the jab more, which is good, definitely good. And he definitely has the power upside here, but I don't really think there's a technique difference here, really, like a gap by any means. I think technique-wise, we're close. I just edged Soriano with the power a little bit. But in terms of who I think can grapple more, I kind of think that it's Stoltzfus who can grapple more and who's going to have more success grappling. So looking at the dog odds, and the more I was watching the tape and just like considering my read, I'm starting to feel obligated to play Stoltzfus at like +2 something. Can Soriano knock him out? Hell yes. Like I said, dude hits really hard. But Stoltzfus has only been knocked out once. That was that Abus fight. And I don't think that Soriano is going to come in here and front kick him to the face again. I don't see that happening. I think Stoltzfus takes this one personally. Like the Soriano Lungiambua fight, unimpressive as hell. Kopylov, I'll give him a pass because Kopilov's a stud, and I've been saying that for a minute now. Maximov is kind of useless because it's a completely different matchup, but Stoltzfus is going to wrestle, right? I think he is going to wrestle. I think he's going to have success there. And then the Brendan Allen fight, everyone was saying Brendan Allen's going to have to grapple. Dude didn't grapple at all and completely outstruck Soriano's. And this is like, what, 2 years ago now? I think Stoltzfus, honestly, is very live. I would line this 50-50, and the more I talk about it, the more I feel like I have to make a play. So we'll see what happens. I'll wait with the line. I'll hope the parlay boys keep going. I don't see anybody talking about Stoltzfus, so I'm not worried about losing the price. If anything, I'll get a better one. How about you, Wiz?
For me, I'm looking to back as many extreme couture fighters as I can, and in this spot, I think it's a pretty good spot for Puna, in my opinion. A lot of iffy stuff, and this is just deep diving into Instagrams and stuff, but this camp for Stoltzfus seems like a lot has been going on for him in life in general. He was sick for a week and didn't train. This was like 2 weeks ago. He lost a family member and a friend last week. It was a rough training camp, apparently. In the comments, I read a couple of comments. So here's the thing. Puna's going to have a big speed and athleticism advantage. And the one thing that it's the ultimate counter to big power punchers is moving laterally. Stoltzfus doesn't do any of that. Stoltzfus, he moves backwards. And with a big power puncher, it takes him a second or two to catch on to it. He might whiff a couple of times. But once he realizes that this guy's just moving backwards, he's just going to extend those punches a little bit more. And sure, that could be to his detriment, and he can walk into a knee or a flying knee of some sort or a kick. But I don't think Stoltzfus has that in his arsenal. Stoltzfus is there to get hit. His defense is not the best. I don't think there's going to be much wrestling or grappling in this fight, in my opinion, unless Puna randomly just decides to put on the singlet. It's Puna early, or else it gets sweaty. So Puna under 1.5 or it gets sweaty. That's just the way I'm looking at it. I think he likely does finish the fight early here and gets a good win. They're probably setting him up for another fight within the next couple of months. I just think that Puna's the rightful favorite. Would I parlay him? I'm thinking about it, to be honest with you. Like, I'm going to be one of those parlay boys that's going to help you get a better price. But I just, from what I've seen on the tape, Stoltzfus is just, I don't think he has what it is for Puna to solve the Puna puzzle. With Maximov, it was just a bad injury for Puna. Brendan Allen, we've gone to see what Brendan Allen has done in the UFC. He's a stud. Got to let that go. So for me, all signs point to Puna here, and I think he has a very winnable matchup.
Yeah, definitely a winnable matchup, and they're clearly trying here. They're definitely trying. Just for me, I feel like he was kind of a failed experiment, personally.
Yeah, that's fair.
He might come out here and prove me completely wrong, but I've been fading him for a bit. Probably going to do it again here, but we'll see. I bet it.
A guy like we met him at PFL New York.
Who, Soriano?
Yeah,
I met him.
Well, oh, that's right. You were somewhere. I don't remember where you are, but
I think it was you and yeah,
we met him there. He's such a nice guy.
Is he tall? He's not, right? He's only 5'11".
He was like 5'11", almost 6 foot.
Does he look stocky as hell in person?
That motherfucker's built. I posted the picture on Twitter if you want to check it out. Let's see what he's listed at here. He's listed at 5'11". I think he's probably 6 foot.
Word.
But yeah, he's built. That motherfucker's different.
That's for sure. But hey, I think Stoltzfus is pretty athletic too. I was watching him. Dude looks pretty jacked.
No, Stoltzfus is definitely jacked.
Yeah. I think it's a good fight. Close fight. I can't parlay Soriano, but we'll see if I end up getting to the dog or not. Moving on, though, we've got Clay Guida versus Joaquim Silva. Guida, 38, 23, and 0. He's 41 years old. 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. On the other side, Silva, he's 12, 4-0. 34, he's going to be 7 years younger, 1 inch taller, and have a 1 inch reach disadvantage. Why don't you start us off, Wiz?
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about this one. Obviously, Silva has good power. Both fighters are getting up there in age, specifically Guida at 41. Guida's main, I'm not going to say arsenal, but main source of offense is going to be the wrestling and the takedowns. I think in this spot, I don't think he would want to take Silva down just because he's a really high level jiu-jitsu player, whether it's guard or whether he's the one that's on top. I think he likely gets to finish in this spot, probably by submission. I went into this looking at the line. I was like, how is Silva minus 300 against anyone? And the more I watched the tape, the more I saw the grappling holes with Guida. Against good grapplers, he's getting submitted constantly. 11 submission losses for Guida, to be specific. He sticks his head into guillotines with these takedowns, even on the mat. Like, sure, if you're not a good scrambler or a good jiu-jitsu player, Guida will dominate. But with Guida scrambling, he leaves a lot of openings to get leg locked, to get his back taken and all that. And I think Silva can take advantage here. And on the feet, Guida gets hit a lot. There's no other way of putting it. I think Silva's going to be able to crack him until we get a panic shot, and I think Silva probably wins by guillotine here. The issue with laying this price on Silva is that he's 34, somewhat of an unproven commodity in the UFC. I still got to go with Silva. I think he wins this fight inside the distance, predicting submission round 2.
Yeah, I was just trying to count how many fights in the UFC Clay has, and I actually couldn't get to the end. I stopped at 25.
Mm-hmm.
But with that sample size, you mentioned the hittable thing, and absolutely, I noticed the exact same thing, and I think we all did. Striking defense is 61%, though. It's pretty crazy. I think it's probably because of all the grappling he did early in his career. That's probably what did it. You'll see that often with grapplers, people who shoot a lot. It's hard to hit a guy who's down at your legs, but just a funny stat. But yeah, I had the same initial reaction when I saw the line. You know me. You guys know me by now. You know I was interested immediately. I was immediately interested. Wanted to see if there's an angle. I never quite thought Joaquim Silva was all that. Still don't. But I don't think 41-year-old Guida is the one who's going to do it. I mean, look, he still has the kind of style to give people problems. He still has that pressure. He still has that output. He's still coming forward, but he's definitely declining. Takedowns aren't as effective as they used to be. Striking is getting worse and worse. Mark Madsen outstruck the guy in a 15-minute striking match. It's definitely starting to go. I was hoping that maybe he could break him, but the more I watched it, he could, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm not betting Clay Guida, unfortunately. Joaquim Silva, my big problems with him and why I wouldn't touch him like ITD or anything, very low output, just kind of stocky, doesn't really strike all that well in my opinion, kind of just big loopy strikes, hits very hard, hurt Arman. Got to give him credit there. He's hurting a lot of guys, but for me, he just doesn't do enough. He really doesn't do enough. For a guy with such good jiu-jitsu, why aren't you wrestling more? You're almost never wrestling, almost never getting takedowns. He's the one getting taken down. He's unimpressive to me for the most part, and I feel like Guida will get some takedowns. But on the feet, Silva's going to land harder. Guida will probably land more. Guida might get takedowns, but I think that's going to open him up to all kinds of liabilities on the ground. First thing I thought about was the freaking guillotine. Clay Guida's been submitted. Let me pull up
11.
How many times. 11?
Yeah.
And an absurd amount of those are guillotines. A ridiculous amount. I want to see. Hold up. Let's see.
How many by guillotine?
Yeah. This is a rear naked. 1, 2, 3.
God damn. 4. A lot of rear naked chokes and guillotines, pretty much.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I'm not seeing 11 sub losses here. 1.
And 7 of them were in the first round.
4, 5, 6. Yeah, I just counted 6 sub losses.
Maybe they're counting the ones that are
early on, the ones that don't have a method.
Yeah.
That still brings us to 9, though. 1, 2, 3. Okay, those are the first 3 fights. Then Junker in 2006. That was a rear naked. Dean Thomas, that's cool. Who was next? Roger Huerta, rear naked. Kenny Florian, rear naked loss.
Then they're counting the 2 from the grappling. From the grappling fights.
Oh, they do that?
Yeah, Chase Hooper, calf slicer in round 1. And then, where is it? I literally just had it right here. Gregor Gracie, armbar.
Oh, weird. All right, well, back to the fight. I just feel like Guida's going to stick his head in there a million times. I felt the same way with JSP and Brito. I bet JSP anyways because I thought he'd be able to fight out of it. He could not. And it's just comedy that he was literally telling Brito to get back up and do something, and Brito got back up and did something and ended the fight.
Do something about it, boy.
But I feel like Guida's going to be just running that damn head right into that guillotine over and over and over again, and eventually that sub's going to come. Can he get knocked out? Yeah, probably. Like I said, Silva hits really hard too. I wouldn't get behind Silva just because I wouldn't be too shocked if Clay outworked him because, like I said, Silva just doesn't do much. You need to do stuff. And I don't like backing guys who aren't doing stuff, and I feel like he isn't. But I went with the under here. Long story short, I went with the under 2.5. I got at -115. Dude, I screwed up so hard. I added a 0 to my bet by accident, and it's bet online, so you can't take it off.
Did you just take the L and bet the over for a little bit?
I considered that. And then I was just like, fuck it.
I guess so.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll probably hedge off a bit because I'm uncomfortable to say the least. But I do think it ends. I do think it ends ITD.
No,
Think
dog. Come on, balls of steel.
I don't know, bro. When I did it, I couldn't believe it. I tracked it only for one unit because that's what it was supposed to be. But yeah, that didn't go very well for me. By the way, guys, that means instead of betting $1, I bet 10.
Mm-hmm. Just for clarity, huh?
Just so you guys know, $1 unit.
Actually added a 0 at the end of the decimal.
Bro, I just hope Silva gets that sub and I can call it a day.
Round 1, Gilly.
I'm gonna retire the night if he wins. I'm good. But all right,
everything else.
Moving on to a more fun fight, I would say we've got Sean Brady versus Kelvin Gastelum. Brady coming back after getting knocked out by Belal Muhammad. Brady 15-1-0, 31 years old, 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. Gastelum 18-8-0. He's 1 year older, 1 inch shorter, and he's going to have a 1 inch reach disadvantage. I'll start us off here, and I love Gastelum here a lot, a lot. I played him at plus 100 for only one unit. And I keep asking myself why I'm not adding. And I'm asking myself now as well why I'm not adding. I really feel like I should be. Sean Brady, I have always been waiting to fade him. And when Belal came around, I felt like it was the perfect opportunity. Because I think what did it for me was when I was watching Brady Chiesa live, and Chiesa was beating the hell out of him on the feet in the third round. I was like, there's something wrong here. This guy can't strike. This guy can't strike, and this guy doesn't have good cardio. And then Belal did it in 2 rounds. And I had Belal there. Everyone was like, Mike, what are you doing? If you're going to bet Belal, bet his decision prop. Bro, his decision was plus 125. He was plus 100, and things like this happen. Thank God I didn't do that. I did the opposite with what's his face? Talbot. Right? I had Talbot 2 and 3 KO. The price was almost exactly the same to just do the rounds. I just didn't look.
That's pain.
It cost me hard. That sucked. But that's why if the money line and the method are close, just go with the money line. But for this matchup, yeah, I don't like Sean Brady striking whatsoever. You can argue he's young, still improving, but he's 31 years old. He is no longer at Renzo Gracie Philly because that gym doesn't exist. I was told this over a year ago at this point. I don't know how it's not common knowledge, but if you look at their Instagrams, it tells you that story. None of them are there. There is, as far as I understand, there's no longer a Renzo Gracie Philly. And I don't like his striking. I hate his striking. I hate his output. I hate his cardio. His wrestling is pretty good. Yeah, I'll give him that. He's short, stocky, strong, very good jiu-jitsu. Can't take that away from him. But Gastelum is short and stocky as well, and he is not going to be easy to take down. He has good takedown defense. He's a very good wrestler himself, and getting underneath short and stocky guys is very difficult. That's why when I wrestled, I wasn't a guy who did doubles and single legs. I liked snap downs and work from the front. It is hard to get underneath stocky guys, and I have a really hard time seeing Brady take down Gastelum at a high clip. I have a hard time seeing him hold him down. I feel like maybe he could win a round on the back of Gastelum. Maybe I could see that kind of happening, but I just don't think he's going to be able to do it long enough to not be beat up on the feet. In the striking realm, the gap is just huge. It's huge. Gastelum is a fantastic striker. He's not like some elite kickboxer, but in MMA, he's a very good striker, hits very hard, good combinations, doesn't get all too wild. I think he's a nightmare for Brady. If Belal was making him that uncomfortable on the feet, what is Gastelum going to do to him? And yeah, I keep hearing he's been out for a year, and a lot of improvements can be made in a year, but I don't think you can achieve Gastelum level striking in a year. And he was far, far, far below that before that. So I think Gastelum wins this at a very high clip. I can't believe he's the underdog. Probably going to add a unit there. I have a hard time seeing him get out controlled for 15 minutes. And that's how he's going to lose, in my opinion. Brady's not going to outstrike the guy. Maybe he can win the minutes wrestling, but I don't think so. So Gastelum for me, probably by knockout late. I don't know if I'm going to get fancy with props, though. I'll probably just add a unit on the money line. How about you, Wiz?
Yeah, I mean we're aligning on a lot of these spots this week. On the feet, as you mentioned, Gastelum washes Brady in all aspects, whether it's a kicking game, whether it's a striking, and we know the grappling caliber of Brady. I get it. Against Bilal, I think the main reason why he got finished there was just him gassing himself out with wasted takedowns, and Bilal defended really well. And Bilal was just jabbing his face out. But that's just still a very bad look. Getting attritionally KO'd by Bilal Muhammad, of all people. Like, no disrespect to the guy, but he's never had power. He's never attritionally
Bilal's
KO'd
been a
anyone.
money train for me, but he does not have power.
Yeah, he's definitely a money train just because of the cardio, the wrestling, and all that, but there's just no power at all. Strength of schedule, not to mention that advantage big time for Gastelum, and he was facing some really good guys up at middleweight who, sure, maybe not the biggest wrestlers and not the biggest takedown threats, I would say, at middleweight, but still defended well. And I feel like at 170, it's going to suit him a lot more. He's at fight ready, so we already know their game planning skills is top tier. They've had to prepare this guy to just put on a singlet and defend every takedown and keep this on the feet for as long as he can. Because in that realm, he is, I mean, I hate to say it, but like 85, 90%. Outside of a meme bonk from Brady, which I don't think can happen. He's also coming off of that elbow injury that took him out of the JDM fight a couple months ago. So we don't know how that elbow still is. I would imagine it's okay. I'm not going to assume that it's injured because that's just bad handicapping. But all signs for me point to Gastelum. That's the first bet I've made on this card, and I'm very tempted to add another unit as you are. I'm just waiting.
Good together with
I think we're gonna get a little bit wider. A lot of
think.
people I think so. I think just a tad bit. I don't know if I want to get greedy or not, but I think so.
Yeah, I guess the way I'd look at it is I can live without having 2 units on him, and then if I get a better price, I'm cool with having 2 units on him.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'll probably wait 2, but I don't know. I feel like I'm really trying to learn how to read markets. I try to look at Bet Online and Pinnacle normally because essentially every book follows them, but they're going the opposite ways right now, so hard to tell. But we'll see. I do think Gastelum wins. His knockout prop isn't that enticing. Plus 275. I was thinking rounds 2-3 for the KO. Plus 11, plus 9 on Bet Online. That means FanDuel will give us like plus 11, plus 13. I'll probably take that, honestly. I feel like you kind of have to be silly not to. If you like Gastelum, then I'm assuming you think he keeps them on the feet.
Mhm.
And then you have to think he's alive for that knockout in rounds 2 and 3 when Brady will tire down, and Brady, as it is, just doesn't have a good striking game, not defensively or offensively.
That's fair. Yeah, that's spot on. I mean, if Brady does get this down, how long can he keep it there? It's a big question mark.
I'm with you, brother. But all right, moving on. This is a really dope fight. We got Figgy coming up to bantamweight. Rob Font versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Font 27-0. He's 36, 5'8" with a 71-inch reach. Figgy on the other side, 21-3-1, 35. He's 1 year younger, going to be 3 inches shorter, have a 3-inch reach disadvantage. And like I mentioned, he's coming up to bantamweight, former flyweight champion. We all know this. Wiz, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, Figgy moving up to 135, training at Fight Ready again, which is a good sign. He's going to be the much smaller guy at bantamweight, and really Figgy's mainly been a hardware merchant. Like, he's really just used the size advantage as he's had at flyweight against his opponents and really imposed himself to win these fights. And the KO power, let's talk about that. Usually when fighters move up a weight class, the KO power doesn't really translate all the time. And I don't think it will in this spot. The issue with Figgy also is the volume. It's never really a kind of guy that wins a significant amount of minutes, but more so like the moments in fights. and he at this point we won't have the fight-ending power anymore. At least that's what I'm assuming. Font is definitely the better boxer. He's going to land at will here. He's going to be the much bigger guy. My issue with Font is that he just gets hurt a lot in fights. Not finished, but he just get hurt. And the optics look really bad. It seems like his orbital bone just gets fractured every single fight within the first couple of punches. And if the power does translate for Figgy, I feel like that's going to bode really bad. If Font didn't have the durability issues and the orbital keep like getting cracked, I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. This would have been a max bet for me. I would have max bet Font if that was the case. But we do have those issues. You do have to recognize them. And for me, I just think Font is better everywhere this fight goes. And the way to beat Font is to put him on his back with the wrestling. And Figgy really hasn't done any of that. Even when he had the size advantage at flyweight, he's not a type of guy that shoots a lot of takedowns. So for me, it's Font or pass in this spot. And I can't look anywhere else. I just don't think Figgy is going to be the same fighter at 135. He's also getting up there in age. Both fighters are, but yeah. That for me, it's Font or pass.
Yeah, I'm with you. I ended up playing Font at minus 138. I only put one unit on it just because I have my concerns.
Come on, guy.
Nah, dude, it's all good. People are just mad jealous, all right? Not everyone's born with these. Sorry. Hopefully you got something else to make up for it. I'm sure you're really intelligent, Steve Gregory. Not everyone can have these eyebrows, though. Dude, yes, it's like
Steve Gregory, 2 first names. Gotta love it.
If you look at my YouTube shorts, literally 90% of the comments are just eyebrows. Been hearing it my entire life, guys. get a new joke. But anyways, yeah, for me, I went with Font. I share a lot of your thoughts. Like, I keep hearing about people saying, yeah, Font's the minute winner, but Figgy's such a good moment winner. And look what happens when Font fights guys like Marlon Vera. Dude, Marlon Vera is a big boy. He's a big dude. And he hits hard but for the weight class. Figgy hit hard for flyweight, like you said. I don't expect him to come in here into bantamweight and have Marlon Vera power, Jose Aldo power. Jose Aldo fought at a weight class above, 2 above. No, 1. Like, it's not the same thing. And in my opinion, Figgy's path here and why I didn't go too hard on Font, not even to win 1 unit, is the grappling, right? We did just see Corey Sandhagen just throw him around like a rag doll for 25 minutes. But I will argue this. I'll argue, first of all, Font was on short notice. Second, I highly doubt that's what he was expecting. And that matters because your prep matters. And I don't think he expected Sandhagen to wrestle 25 minutes. And on top of that, again, size. Sandhagen is huge. He's 5'11". Like, he might not be the most stacked guy. He looks like an IT dude, but he's big and he's strong and he's a very good grappler himself. So I don't think just because he did it, that means Figgy can do it. And like you said, Figgy's not really out here shooting offensively all the time. He's not out here shooting doubles all too much. He just doesn't really do that. On the feet, yeah, he'll land hard, but I can't even say harder because it's bantamweight, and Rob Font doesn't hit lightly. Dude hits hard too. And what I love the most, output. The output. I love guys who throw a ton. That's why I love JSP. Fortunately, it didn't work out for him the last time. But guys who throw a lot, shoot a lot, any kind of output, constant output, I love backing them because it usually breaks people. It usually gets to them. And against a guy like Figgy, I really do think it'll get to him. I think the striking will be too much. Font's boxing is so clean. He's such a clean boxer. It's so crisp. I love everything about him. Bet him against Yanez. That was a beautiful underdog cash. And I think he's going to pull it off here. If he loses, I guess it's a sub. But I kind of have a hard time gaming it out in my head. Like, what kind of sub, right? Like, does he double leg him and take his back? Is it a guillotine maybe? I don't know. For me, it's Rob Font. Just a unit shot, nothing crazy. Don't go parlaying him, but I think he should win this fight. I feel like coming up in a weight doesn't really work out for anybody. Like,
no, when it comes to power, from what we've seen, power translates down a weight class, but it does not translate upwards. So moving
Trying
up.
to think of an example of a guy who had success going up. Cejudo, obviously.
Yeah, he's like a
Who else?
one in a no, not a million,
Yeah,
but
Cejudo is like one of the goats. Yeah, he's definitely. I think he's no Cejudo. Is there like
I mean,
anyone else?
you see what happened with Nathaniel Wood. I mean, he's doing okay. He's still very small.
He's doing better than I thought, but he needs to stop. He needs to turn around and go back. There's only one person at featherweight who's 5'6" and makes it work, and his name's Alexander Volkanovski.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's going to work out for Wood. I was so upset when he left bantamweight because I love him as a fighter, and I think he's really good. But at featherweight, not the move.
He just got lazy.
Maybe. I mean, I get it. The cut was there's like these guys who are just stuck in the middle, right? Like why a lot of people want a 160 weight class because the gap between 155 and 170 is huge. But
this one's only a 10-pound difference.
yeah,
135 and 145.
yeah. I don't know. Moving on though, we've got Jalin Turner versus Bobby Green. This was originally Bobby Green, Dan Hooker. That would have been sick for 5 rounds. That would have been a really good time. This will still be fun, but it's stylistically a little different. Turner, 13-7-0, 28 years old. He's 6'3" with a 75-inch reach. Green on the other side, 31-14-1, 37. He's 9 years older. He's going to be 5 inches shorter, and he's giving up 4 inches in reach. I'll start us off here. This is the one that I need to tape more. Honestly, I'll be straight up right away. I haven't gotten to tape this one in depth. I did Bobby Green when I was taping Bobby Green and Dan Hooker because I bet Dan Hooker, but I haven't had the time to tape Turner. Obviously, I remember him very well. I know the guy very well. I'll tell you guys what I think, but just a heads up, I haven't fully taped him. For me, I think Turner should win. I think the grappling is going to be very, very helpful here. The size is going to be very, very helpful. He's still relatively young. He's still improving constantly. I think very highly of Turner. And this should be a winnable fight, but on short notice gives me a little bit of pause. And just a guy like Green, he's got really good takedown defense. So going to the grappling won't be too easy for Turner. It's not an easy thing to get Bobby down. It's not an easy thing to hold Bobby down. And on the feet, Bobby's one of the best there is when it comes to boxing. I mean, the dude is clean as hell, very defensively sound despite having his hands down. He's very good at moving away from shots. Output is fantastic. Cardio, he can go all day. For a 37-year-old man, he and with a 31-14 record, he's way better than you'd think. And at plus 210 pre-tape on Turner, I'm tempted. I'm definitely tempted because for me, for Turner to cover this price, he needs to grapple. And that's when I'm going to have to look at the tape and see if I think Turner can grapple Green here constantly. Because for me, that's what he has to do. I think he can 100% keep up on the feet. I think he can hurt Bobby. We've seen Bobby hurt. Dober put him out. I think Turner can put him out too. His frame is just gigantic for a lightweight. I think he's got all the upside. I just think there's a few question marks here because of the short notice. I'd be hesitant, but I got to tape it more. I will pick Turner, but I'll be looking to bet Bobby first if the tape lines up. How about you, Wiz?
Yeah, I mean, the pick is Turner, but there's a lot of red flags. I mean, if this was a full weight class, a full camp for Turner, I would automatically already have a lot of money on Turner. But here's my issues. One, his main gym closed down. Ruka gym is closed down. That's where Mackenzie Dern, Turner, Cheeto, they all used to train there. That closed down. I think it closed down before his last fight against Hooker. So now he's just at Carlson Gracie in Riverside. Second thing, short notice, cutting down, and this is not a catch weight, it's still 155. Cutting all that weight down at a guy who's already large for the weight class. He's huge. On short notice is going to be very tough. He already missed weight last time out on a full camp against Dan Hooker. So that's another red flag right there for me. I'm going to have to see how he looks like on the scales. And I get it. Height, age, and reach advantages all go towards Turner. The grappling advantage is very significant. If this fight hits the floor, I think the grappling is going to play a big part. But I feel like Turner has slowly started to become a little more and more chinny. And the reason why I feel like the main reason why he missed weight last time out was obviously the gym closing down, that doesn't help. But in an interview, he mentioned that the weight cut was really easy for him, so he's going to try and add on muscle. So he went ahead and added on some muscle to his frame, and that is not good for weight cutting. I think this guy eventually is going to move up to 170, where I feel like he belongs. He just needs to take a year or a year and a half off and put on that size. And Bobby is a motherfucker, man. Like with all due respect, this guy is a ridiculous boxer. He's really good. I wouldn't say he's powerful, but he has sneaky power. Like it comes out every here and there. Like the Dawson one, we kind of knew Dawson was a little chinny, but damn, to do it that quick, sparked him in 30 seconds. That was impressive. And
I don't think anyone thought that was happening.
Dude, the thing with Dawson is that we knew he was a little chinny from his past. And then against Dober, he had Dober pretty much fucked with no other words to describe it. He had him dead to rights, and then something happened and just Dober's chin. I think Green has a really good chance of winning this one and upsetting everyone once again. And that's why I'm staying off of any Jalin Turner bets, even though he's one of my favorite fighters. You got to put the bias aside. If this was a full camp, maybe it would have been a different story, as I mentioned earlier. But too many red flags, too many question marks for Turner. And a guy that I eventually see moving up to 170, I just think this may be one of the last couple of fights for him at 155 if he misses weight. I get it short notice, but I just don't see him at 155 for much longer. But the pick is still Turner. I just think the grappling, if it gets there, will prove to be too much.
Yeah, Turner by sub was interesting originally. It was like plus 600, but that's long gone now. I think it's like plus 3 something now. Yeah, like I mentioned before, I think he wins, but this is one that I need to tape more because just off of my memory of him and what I've seen from Bobby when I was taping him in Hooker and what I know of Bobby, plus 210 on Bobby, plus 200 on Bobby is pretty interesting. Fan aside, like you said, I am a huge Turner fan, and I honestly hope he is able to stay at lightweight because I think one of his biggest edges is his frame. That's one of his biggest advantages. You go to welterweight, you start to lose that.
We'll have to see. I mean, you never know what he turns into with more muscle on his frame, like more power or just more comfortable. He's not draining as much.
I guess it kind of worked out for Medic. Kind of.
Yeah.
I'll give Medic a pass in his last loss. That was a tough fight.
Yeah, he was preparing for Johnny Parsons.
Instead,
not a wrestler, not Miktabek Oralby, the man.
Instead, he got my guy Oralby,
the man who needs to discover fire.
Those jokes were wild.
Yeah, like just wait till this man discovers fire.
Yo, the guy's a beast. That dude's good.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets striking better, he's gonna be a problem. But all right, we can move on to our main event of the evening. We've got two of my favorite fighters, Beneil Dariush versus Arman Tsarukyan. Dariush, 22, 5-1, 34 years old. Wiz is hiding his head. Yeah, if you guys weren't around, one of my favorite moments on this podcast was what fight was it? Was it the Gamrot fight?
Yeah.
So Wiz used to train with Dariush in the same gym, and he had picked against Dariush there. And some dude just comes in our chat and it's just like, Wiz the snake with the snake emojis. That shit is too good. Now, every time Dariush fights, I hit up Wiz and I ask him if he's going to bet against him.
It seems like it's every freaking Dariush fight now.
But back to the intro. Dariush, 34 years old, 5'10", 72-inch reach. Tsarukyan, 23-0, 27. He's 7 years younger, 3 inches shorter. It's about the same reach. Why don't you start us off, Wiz?
Okay.
Please, Arman.
Man.
For the jokes.
Arman. No. At this price, it is ridiculous. It's dog or pass no matter what. Dariush has the much better strength of schedule. Tsarukyan, obviously, younger, more athletic, more durable, which is a concern for me when it comes to Dariush. Last time out, from what I heard, he did get KO'd in camp, which I mean, it was from a head kick. So against Oliveira, that was pretty much toast. And then the wrestling from Tsarukyan is very strong. I really like the body kicks that he throws. Very powerful. You hear them slapping off the guy's skin, and he goes to them often. And he does it from southpaw, from orthodox, both, which I feel like will prove to be beneficial in this fight, unless Benny finds the timing to catch them and take them down himself. On the mat, I think Benny is going to be the better grappler, a much better jiu-jitsu player, in my opinion. And he has these Imanari rolls that are very sneaky. And I don't know. I just think if it hits the mat, Benny can stay safe and possibly sweep Arman here. But in this striking, Benny can get wild and he leaves his chin open, which is a big concern. And Arman also is a wild striker. He's not really a methodical guy where he goes for his jabs, fights behind the jab. He's also swinging, like how we saw against the Joaquim Silva, who we spoke about earlier. Tsarukyan did get dropped in that fight in round 2, but Silva's power is different. Dariush does have some power, but I wouldn't say it's anything to write home about. I don't think he's knocking guys out left and right. It's a very close fight where, I mean, the odds at this point are a little bit too wide, man. If you're telling me that it was still a pick'em, then yeah, I do think Tsarukyan is the pure pick. But with the odds the way they are now, I'm gonna have to go with Dariush, and I'm gonna be betting Dariush at these odds plus 230. I mean, if it gets wider, you'd be crazy not to bet it. A guy like Dariush, who was a challenger for the title not too long ago, I think this is a good spot for both guys to show where they're at in their careers, and we'll just have to see from there. But plus 2xx, I'll take it. So give me Dariush as a bet.
Yeah, for me, I'm just pulling up something real quick. I want to see some numbers. Yeah, so plus 235, they're giving Dariush a 30% chance of winning. I don't think that could be more wrong. Like, it's so off. Like, this is a major dogger pass at this point. I'm a huge Tsarukyan fanboy. Top 5 favorite fighters active right now. Love the guy. I think he's going places. I really want to see him fight Islam again. That first fight was sick for the grappling exchanges, and that was literally his debut. But, first thing I'll do is I will push back a little in the striking. I do think Arman has some process. I do think Arman's actually getting pretty clean. He's not really winging all too much anymore. I definitely see a jab, straight punches. In terms of just striking here, I feel like Arman's the more technical striker, probably the better striker. Dariush has this like really weird kind of style where he's like hanging over a little bit. It works, and he does seem to hit pretty damn hard. My thing is why I think Arman still wins, and why I spoke about this earlier, that I might not fully hedge off, is his cardio, right? His cardio just seems to not be very good. I'm watching the guy, and, in the Gamrot fight, he got tired. In the Ferreira fight, the second one, dude was exhausted. He was still winning. He was still able to do it, but he was so tired. This is 5 rounds, and we haven't seen Benny go 5 rounds. We've seen Arman go a hard 5 with Gamrot already. We know he can do this. We don't know that Dariush can. We like to think that because we like Dariush and he's been a stud, but we don't really have any evidence that he can do 5 rounds. And based off of what we've seen, it suggests that he can't. So that's part of the reason why I do think Arman wins, and why I'm not running to go make it a full bet on Dariush. At the same time, though, Arman can get caught. He can be hurt like Silva. Dariush does hit sneakily hard. And the scrambling of Dariush is unlike anything I've ever seen. Like, the way that this dude scrambles on the ground, the stuff he was doing when Gamrot was trying to take him down, it was just crazy. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
And the Imanari's, man.
Things he did where he, I don't even remember, he bent over completely, came out the other side. It was just crazy. This fight is going to be sick. It's going to be a lot of fun. Arman will wrestle, I think, and Dariush will scramble, and it's going to be really interesting to see, can Arman actually hold him down? I think early, hell no. I think Dariush is going to be just an absolute pain in the ass the first 2 rounds. I think Arman's better off keeping on the feet. After that, though, I think that wrestling is going to be available. I think it's going to be a path And what did tire Dariush in those fights? What do Ferreira and Gamrot share? Two heavy grapplers, also with very good scrambling ability, and that tired him out. He's got another one here who's 7 years younger. It's a 5-rounder. All the momentum's with Arman. For me, it's Arman. I do think he wins, but if I was betting this right now, you already know I'd have a unit on Dariush.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game. You have to play the odds. He does not have a 30% chance of winning. It's higher than that, in my opinion. What I have right now, I explained it earlier. If you've tuned in later, I got onto Tsarukyan at opener on DraftKings. It was plus 100. Gave it out on my Discord. A bunch of us got on there. Put 3 units on that. Had no intentions of hedging because I didn't think the line would move that much. I felt like Dariush would probably stay around there. Maybe it would flip slightly, like Arman minus 120, Dariush plus 105, something like that. And then I wake up one morning and I see plus 170. And I did the math in my head and I was like, screw it. Like, I'd rather a free play for a unit than risk 3 and possibly lose all 3. So I took my free play. As it stands right now, I have 2 units on Dariush at plus 170. And I have 3 units on Arman at plus 100. So if Arman wins, I win 1 unit. If Dariush wins, I win 0.4. Nothing really, but I don't get the loss. And I still have a bet on Arman, who I think is going to win the fight. At the same time, though, I'm very tempted to just put the extra unit on Dariush, make it a free bet on Dariush to win. What is it? It's going to come out to plus 2. It'll come out to 2.7 units if he wins. It's tempting, but the more I talk about it, the more I think about it. And end of the day, picking a winner, I think Tsarukyan wins this one.
Yeah. Yeah, take the guaranteed profit no matter outcome, always.
Yeah, just going to ride with Tsarukyan and do that. Worked out well for me. The only other time I did it, the only other time I was able to do it was Cameron Simon when he fought Kim on the Contender Series. I got money down on Kim at plus 300 on the opener, and then I got money down the other way. Obviously, was not a lot of money back then, though. My units were much smaller too, and yeah, I was able to hedge the hell out of that there. Hey, I'm still much smaller than some of the guys around here. I'm no Big Steve. But we've come a long way. We've come a long way.
Proud of us.
I'm proud of us. Look at us. Look at us.
Yeah, no, I just increased my unit size like a month ago. I was like shitting bricks the first like 2 weeks, and now I'm like, okay, I'm settled down.
Yeah, I'm gearing up for my next one. I'm
Oh,
nervous though. Nervous. Before I do it though, I gotta turn my luck around. It's been a rough second half of the year for the Couch Warrior, so I ain't raising no unit stakes until I get back in the green for this year.
That's fair.
But all right, guys, that is 13 fights. We've been going for just about 2 hours now. Long show. Always like breaking down the fights with my guy Wiz. Wiz, thank you as always for coming on, brother. Why don't you plug yourself and then we'll get the hell out of here.
Absolutely. No, it's a pleasure, and this was really fun, as always. If you guys want to find me, you can find me on Twitter and YouTube at WizDoes. I do betting content when it comes to NFL, NBA, MLB, primarily mixed martial arts and NFL. So, yeah, I give out my all sports that are not MMA picks. They're all free on the Twitter, or X if you want to call it that. You can find me there. Nothing much going on this week. Just a breakdown video on Friday for me, and that's all. Thank you for having me again.
Duh. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Oh,
and for myself, what are we doing this week? Tomorrow, going to drop the YouTube shorts, as always. 1 minute clips for each fight. I talk really fast, so it kind of works out. It's hard to do, but it works. And then probably nothing else, honestly. There's no major regionals this week. I'm probably going to be gearing up for PFL Europe next week. Rather start on that card, start on the UFC, I guess it's Vegas now card.
Yeah, Vegas 83.
That's next week, right? We don't have another break?
Yeah, no, the next break is pretty much in 2 events, and that's for a whole month. That's going to be pain.
Those
the
are
16th to the 13th, I think it is, of January.
Yeah, that's when I end up being in the bathroom at 3 a.m. betting on Russian ping pong.
Ooh, just count me in. It'll be midnight here, so I'll be up.
How did you live through COVID and not bet on Russian ping pong as a gambler?
You know,
It was like the only sport running for a month.
No, the NBA was there. They had the play-in tournament. I mean, the what's it called? The bubble.
Oh yeah, they did do something like that, right?
I also wasn't that much of a gambler back then.
That was where my roots sprung up. They locked me away for a few months, and I came out a gambler.
Exactly. What has the world done?
Honestly, though, you got to blame Angela Hill. I tell this story every time she fights, but literally, my first ever bet was a parlay with my brother. He said, "Yo, check this out. We can bet a tiny amount and win a ton. Let's make a parlay and watch some fights." I was like, "Okay." And we start filling them out, and like, I don't know anything. I've watched UFC my entire life, but like not like from that kind of eye. And I didn't know any of the recent fighters. Like I know the old dudes. I love Matt Hughes. I love Forrest Griffin. Like those are my guys. But the newer dudes, I didn't know who anybody was. I didn't know who Angela Hill, Claudia Gadelha, Nate Landwehr, Darren Elkins. Elkins I actually knew. But anyways, we were going through it, and I used to be on Reddit, and I went to like the R Sports book. And I just went to the UFC thread, and I saw what people were betting. And I saw someone bet Landwehr, who was the underdog. So I told my brother, I was like, "Yo, Nate, pick Nate." He's like, "Okay." And then I saw someone betting Angela Hill. And I was like, "You know what? Yo, put Angela Hill on there." And Hill was plus 350 against Gadelha. And my brother looks at me, and he's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "No, but do it." And we did it. Dude, she was the only one who lost. And she should have won that fight. If you remember that fight, she won that fight. MMA Decisions agrees with me. Everyone agrees with me.
Horrible.
Hill won that fight. And that's what got me into sports gambling. Angela.
And look where we are now. We have channels and YouTube pages and Twitters and X's.
Of which, if you don't already, subscribe to me and Wiz. Video. What are you at now, Wiz? Are you at 500 yet?
No, I think I'm at like I don't even think I'm at 4 yet.
All right, the Couch Army got you. Tomorrow you'll be at 402.
368 is the number.
Gotta get Wiz to 1,000. Make sure you guys are subscribing to Wiz. Make sure you're subscribing to me at Couch Warrior Pod. If you're watching, you already know where to find it. My Twitter's at Couch Warrior Pod, like it says right up here. My bets go up there when I make them. However, sometimes I don't make it there. Odds move, and I have a new order now. I go bet MMA first. So if you want to guarantee to know when I make my bet, literally I'll make it on the book, pull up my phone, bet MMA. Then I go to my Discord, and then if the line is still there, I'll do the Twitter posts. Otherwise, I'm not going to put it up if it's gone. So if you want the first one, bet MMA, link tree up on my YouTube channel. You can find it there. Discord link will be in the description of this video. 100% free. I don't charge a penny. I post all my bets as soon as I make them. Sometimes I'll throw breakdowns in there, and we just talk fights constantly. We're talking fights today, yesterday, every day, UFC, all the regionals. If you know me, you know I'm always taping regionals. We're talking about them in there. So check that out as well. And that's it, guys. We got to run. Thank you all for tuning in. Good luck this weekend, and peace out.